Hi, John. We'll just do a quick test to make sure you can hear me. Are you good? Good.
Bonjour. Hello. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Obviously, I'm very excited to introduce to you our new manager, Paulo Fonseca. I have had the great pleasure to know Paulo for probably about, seems like 5 years at this point. Seen him perform as a coach, enjoyed getting to know him personally, and I'm thrilled that he chose to lead our project going forward at Olympique Lyonnais. And with that, would love to introduce you to Paulo, who might want to say a couple of words, and I think we'll just open it up to questions.
Bonjour à tous.
Good afternoon, everyone. The first thing, thank you for your introduction. Thank you for your confidence, your trust. This was a very decisive decision, a very determined decision. We talked a lot. He explained to me OL's ambition. And it's very important for me to understand what John wants to do for the OL. The ambitions are very high. I understand the project, the mission of this great club, and I'm very motivated to begin to work to make OL really a great club and to get the results that our supporters expect. Why? Because it's the work that has to be done for our supporters. Thank you for your trust and your confidence.
I think questions, anyone?
Bonjour.
Good morning, good afternoon, and Edouard G, RMC, Sport à Lyon, and BFM. Thank you. Welcome to Lyon. And what are you going to bring to the club? What's your style? And what's it like to take a club in the middle of the season where you're qualified for Europe, where you're still in the running for the championship? How are you going to take on your task? I'm here before all because John trusts me and has confidence in the work I do, but I'm also here because I believe in the quality of our players. I think that we can and we have the possibility of improve the performance of this club. And as you know, I'm a coach who likes to dominate during the matches. We have the players who are able to do that. We have players who can undertake a positive and offensive match. But I think that we have players who are capable of also defending, and we have to improve that in improving our defensive organizations. So I'm here with a lot of ambition because I believe in this team.
Bonjour, Julien Huette pour Anthony Radio.
Good afternoon, Anthony Radio. Aujourd'hui en France, welcome to Lyon. When a new coach, there's a request for change. That's not true for the media today and the supporters. That may complicate your work. I don't know if I've understood really, but to talk about the situation and to be a coach. In fact, when you arrived in Milan, the supporters were not in favor. Were in favor of the change. Here, it's not the case. I can't hear him very well. I think that. No, we have to understand the situation. Pierre did really good work, excellent work, until recently, and we have to understand the feeling that the supporters have at this point. I think it was I recognize the work that Pierre achieved, but today we are in a new stage which is different, and I think that the supporters understand this change. I have to say, and I want to say, that I know the atmosphere, the ambience among the supporters. And I played 4 times here, and yesterday I saw the supporters' mood. But I have no doubt that it will be important for the supporters and the team that we can make OL a stronger club. But we have to understand the situation.
I would like to address your question a little more thoroughly. I would respectfully beg to differ a bit with the premise. We have a very diverse group of supporters across the city, across the country and beyond. We have very vocal supporters who were very close, very connected to Pierre. I was very close and connected to Pierre. So I believe that Pierre really helped us to reconnect kind of at sort of a heart level with the club and start to dream again about the great days of Lyon. At the same time, many supporters have reached out to us, both before the decision and since the decision, and said exactly that they understand the decision. Sometimes change can be painful, yet still be appropriate. And I think that Pierre did a magical job for us last year. I think that most supporters see that there are obvious weaknesses, not necessarily in the squad in terms of the players, but in terms of the strategy and the preparation and the approach. My job is to optimize our opportunity to get to Champions League. Many supporters believe that Pierre was capable of getting us there, and that may be true. My job is to dramatically increase the probability that we get there and that we fight for a title in Europe. Last night's game is a perfect example. You know, we survived. We got by. We qualified. Last night and, you know, for the last several weeks, I think it's been survival. It's been just getting by. So this change was made with the greatest amount of respect for the contribution that Pierre Sage made, that will always be remembered for the magical turnaround that he led. But now we're looking forward, and we're trying to increase the probability that our highest ambitions are met. And I think many supporters understand the rationale for this change.
Bonjour, Tristan pour France 3.
Tristan for France 3, France 3. On the same theme, we heard the supporters really cheer for Pierre Sage, your predecessor. Is that an extra pressure for you? Are you worried about how the supporters will welcome you or accept you? No, I'm very used to pressure. I love pressure. And, you know, I have at a place where I have an ambition. I have to win. If we want to have pressure, if you don't want the pressure, then you should be doing something else in your life. I am used to pressure.
I think they cheered for Pierre for good reason. I think it was a tribute to Pierre, and he deserves it. I'm sure nobody that remains behind at the club was at all offended by what was a very appropriate tribute to Pierre. He did a great job. He deserved the adulation, and now we turn the corner and we move forward.
Razik Brig pour le site Olympique Lyonnais.com.
I just want to say something as well. I think the situation for Pierre was really great. I think football is the way it is. And it's a beautiful sport because to have a moment for people who love football and who recognize the merits of a person, that's great. And I think yesterday was wonderful because the supporters did the right thing. I'm for Olympique and you said that you were in a survival mode. That's not great for the team. What are you going to do to change with the players you have for them to play harder and to win games? I believe in our players, in our team. I am a coach with clear ideas, and I think we have the capabilities to improve. What do we have to improve? A lot of things. Because when we understand that we have the capacity, with the players we have, we should be doing much better and to be the best team, to have a great organization, to have a different organization. I am here, Melo,
Elle forme qui, je crois.
But we have the space, the room.
Nous n'avons pas beaucoup de temps.
We don't have a lot of time, but we have the room to improve a lot of things with the players we have on this team. Textor, good afternoon. Jean-François Gomez from Le Progrès in Lyon. I wanted to ask your habit almost of changing players and the multi-club strategy. Are you bothered by the fact that you're reduced to that and you're more of a manager rather than a human resources kind of guy?
Honestly, I'm not bothered by much. I do like to improve communication and the understanding of information related to our business model, because I think it's important for the supporters to always be clear and our players and our staff to be clear. I don't like labels. The word multi-club was, I guess, a label relating to what others were doing within the sport. I didn't set out to create a multi-club format. I was bothered that players around the world, great players, young players, did not have access to opportunity, that restrictions on immigration and player migration were a problem. I was a bit bothered that some of the best players in the world that I would see in even the United States and in South America did not have access to the greatest game in the world, largely here in Europe. So I've built a family of clubs that are probably much more collaborative with each other than any other multi-club, I think, in the world. We were not created with the same ambitions of other multi-clubs to achieve what they call synergies and to save money and to reduce cost and to blend departments. We were created as a family of clubs that are collaborative with each other, not only in football, but in terms of immigration and player pathways. And I enjoy young people in football. I enjoy giving them opportunity. I got into football with the creation of my academy in 2005, and I became very close to players that would grow and become frustrated that they didn't have the same opportunity to show themselves based on either the color of their skin or where they were born. So the fact that we're moving players, all over our clubs, I think that's why shouldn't they have the same opportunities to move between opportunities that the rest of us have in our careers? Why are the rules so constricted to prevent them from having those opportunities? And why, when somebody comes along like me and uses the rules of football, follows the rules of football, and then creates more movement of players between club and community and culture and country, I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think if that helps us optimize rosters to be more competitive, to compete against just unlimited money, I think that's also a good thing that everybody could cheer for. A new method of competition, I think, is exciting and it's fair and it's entertaining. Look, we're not winning championships all over the world right now, so I'm not sure who's offended or threatened by it, but we're just trying to put together great opportunities for young people and put together good football teams, and every club within our family deserves to be a champion, and that's what I aspire to do every day I wake up.
Bonjour à tous les deux. Paulo, bienvenue.
Good afternoon, everyone. Paulo, welcome to Lyon. Hugo Guillemette from L'Équipe. I want you to talk a little more about your style in the game. We saw you in Lille, in Milan. You play 4-3-2-1. You've also played 3-4-3. What should we expect as a game style with you? And can we see that quickly, beginning in Marseille this Sunday? We can play in various systems, structures. I think that
normalement, je suis
normally
de 4-2-3-1.
I'm a
Le plus important, c'est la
4-2-3-1,
dynamique de
4-3-1.
la structure. Je dois
Well, 5-2-3-1. I have to know
cette caractéristique
what the characteristics are of the different players and find the best dynamic system.
Les joueurs,
I know the players
les joueurs parce que
because
aussi
many
j'ai joué contre
of them I played against them,
joueurs, mais c'est différent quand
but it's very different when you're working,
toujours avec les joueurs.
when you're working as a coach. It's not what the structure, the alignment isn't really what's most important. What's important is the dynamics. I want to get to know them
Les joueurs pour
and get the players to play within the best structure and create the best dynamic. But right now, we don't have a lot of time to change the things immediately, perhaps, but we are beginning to work to be clear, to know, so that they know what we're going to do for the next match. That's what's most important.
Paulo, vous venez avec
Paulo, you're coming in with some of your staff. Two of them are here already. How are you going to coordinate the work of the various between those who are in the club already and the newcomers? The technical staff, Georges Maciel, worked with me in Lille. He was my deputy, Paulo Ferrer, who used to play Chelsea, I think. And Paulo Moran is the physical operation, Antonio Farrell for the goalkeepers, and Nelson Duarte as well as for analysis. I can't hear him very well with his mic. How will the work go between the people who were here before and the new guys? We are organized right now. We arrived today. We have studied and we looked at how things work here. And in the days to come, we defined the functions of the various people. What's most important is that when we come into a club, is to see if people are open to working together, if they're good, and it'll be easy to accept that each person plays their role. A question for John Textor. What do you like about Paulo Fonseca? What do you like about him?
Well, we had breakfast back in 2020 or 2021, and I remember something he said to me that day. So I'm not going to put any pressure on him with this particular comment, but he didn't just say he likes to dominate clubs. He said he likes to demoralize the opponent with possession and various other kind of approaches to achieving victory. And I remember that word dominate. I remember the word demoralize. And I think it's all for the fun of sport. So it's just a word, but it stuck with me. So I began to watch him coach, watch his teams play. And, I think maybe those that know me, followed me, know that I just digest a tremendous amount of football as a fan. And I just followed his career. And in good times and bad, I always enjoyed the way he played. His teams are very well structured. It's one thing to say you have a formation, a 4-2-3-1, but it's another thing to teach it and to see your players follow that teaching and adhere to it. Structure discipline, in his case, never really took away from opportunity. So you could be well structured and you could be defensively solid and you can still play exciting football. And I think that's what, I started talking about in other situations down in Brazil, which is highly unstructured environment. We wanted to bring that European discipline to Brazil with that, in that case, that part of the world, the Brazilian artistry. I think Lyon is a very different academy, a very different club. People are so attracted to our academy because we teach such very, great skills and great football, especially at an individual level. But when I see what our club has become, maybe far too many individuals and far too much freelancing and not great organization and great players that are often out of position, maybe not communicating well enough with each other, without team defense, 11 players all thinking with one brain and acting out of one heart. I just started thinking about Paulo more and more and more. And the fact that he has experience in this league was huge because, without great resources at all times at Lille, he, matched against great opponents and I think did very well. So I think about the resources we have here at this very big club and the access to talent that we have out of our academy and around the world. My admiration for him over the years, my appreciation of his work made me just want to see that, come into this opportunity where I think he can really do wonderful things with it.
Paulo, vous étiez à Lille, un club intermédiaire.
Paulo, you were in Lille, which was a middle of the pack club with a lot of trading, and you developed Leniniro, Boadi, I think you brought him in. And then you went to Milan, which is a huge club, not the same logic. Now you come to Lyon, which is a great club, but you have to do some trading. John Textor often says that his coach should be both a trainer and a banker. And do you see the possibility of developing young people and getting value from them, both as players and on the field? On the pitch, I love to work young players. We have one of the best academies. And I think we should have the opportunity to continue to work really well with the young players. I did that at Lille. I put a lot of young players on the pitch in Milan as well. And I think here, with the quality of work that's been done and the quality of the players we have the opportunity to see younger players, more younger players, and we need to find the right timing, the right coordination to choose the best to bring in the young players to the team. Now, the main goal is to make our team a winning team. But I will try. I'll be very positive with younger players. I think in the future we can think more younger players coming out of the academy. You have a first meeting, and what a meeting at the Velodrome. Are you looking at this match? Are you worried about it? What's your state of mind? We're very motivated. We began today to prepare the match. You don't have a lot of time, but we're very motivated. It's a great game to have to play against a great team, a great coach, but
nous voulons préparer
We want to prepare
des joueurs bien les matchs pour arriver
the players so that they get to the match
et faire
and get to the velodrome to play a great game. We want to have to always have the ambition to win, but we want to prepare the match properly, to really have a good match and have the possibility of winning. John Textor was saying that you don't have the resources at the same level in Lille, and now with the team you have, do you think you have a team that can get into the top 3 at the end of the season? Yes, well, that's our ambition. I'm here to win. I think what's most important is to create the ambition to win every match, to have that mindset, the courage to get into each game, each match to win. And in the end, if we have that ambition, that determination, this mindset, we can do some great things. 2 last questions. I had 2 questions for Mr. Textor. You talked about training and the academy, which has always been a really great source of players for OL, and it's going down these days. There are less who are going to the big clubs. What's your ambition for this training center? And you say today that there's a lack of defensive organization and efficiency. Isn't it just that has something to do with the policies?
Your first question I understand a little better than the second, so I may ask you to sort of repeat. You said the defensive structure has something to do with policies?
Dans votre entretien à l'agence France Presse?
In your AFP interview, you said there was not enough organization defensively. And is that not part of the sports policies at the OL?
When you say sports policies, it could be lost in translation. I would say that just in terms of the training of the team, sort of repetitively, week after week, it's just my opinion that we could improve on our concentration on defense, on the training of defensive strategies, and on the concept and the buy-in across the team of team defense. Defense is played by 11 players, and often with Lyon it seems it's played by a portion of the team, but not all of the team. And it's just not for me to determine how that should be done, but to hire a manager that has a great reputation in that kind of organization. And so that's what we've tried to do. With respect to the academy, you know, you've been here longer than I have, so your comment that it's going down now, don't know, you know, to what extent that's true. I think these things can be somewhat cyclical because of a concentration of players that might be in one graduating class over another. I can tell you, you know, I really came to professional football through the academy. I relate more to the development of young people than I do to the, you know, sort of serving kind of the professional athlete that's well established and already on their way. My academy in Florida has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, and I have relationships with the players that I've helped to advance as both athletes and students and many professionals, not just professional athletes, but, you know, professionals, adults. My decision to swap the leased real estate of the academy between the women and the men is to increase the coordination and the collaboration between the academy and the first team. I've seen that work very well at Crystal Palace, where, you know, the first team coach literally can look across the field and say, you know, hey, who's that kid? Because, head coaches in professional football, they have a lot of information to track. It's not just always so easy to expect that they know every one of the prospects coming up through the academy. And I think it's going to be beautiful to see at first the upper ages of the academy come over and be closer to the first team. And as we look to expand around this property with more residential and more facilities for the entire academy, I think it's going to be incredible for the strengthening of the traditions of the Lyon Academy and the coordination with the first team. So that was the idea behind that. Again, some of it's going to come pretty quickly. We've got a nice transition relationship worked out with my friend Michelle Kang to make sure that everybody's taken care of, not only in terms of field access and facilities, but also the residential equation. And I think we can invest in facilities around this property to make it even more special. I would say for this being one of the top 3 academies in the world, as much as we like the Academy of Grounds currently, they're nowhere close to the standard of facilities and Academy of Grounds that I see at many, many other clubs around the world. So we could be top 3 in terms of our history of producing top talent, but we're not even top 20, 30 in terms of facilities, and that I'm determined to change.
On est encore en période de mercato.
We're still in the mercato till Monday.
Est-ce que vous aviez une demande particulière?
Do you have
la situation
any
est compliquée, le club ne peut pas recruter, mais il y a quand même des possibilités.
requests? I know the club can't recruit. Have you asked for the defense to be reinforced? And John, is the mercato over? Will we keep the players we have, or may there be some adjustments still?
I'll take that one first.
Bon, mais je vais commencer alors.
I am American, so I believe in freedom of speech, and the coach shall always be allowed to challenge me privately, publicly, however he would like to request support, both in the roster and beyond. So you can answer that question freely, even in my absence. As far as the Mercado, I believe we did get an opportunity with an international spot because Ainsley Maitland-Niles has a passport, now qualifies as an EU player. It's very late in the game. We do have the ability under the rules that govern us through the DNCG to take a player on loan if an attractive player is available. So we do have our eye out, although we did have a very big squad. The selling of the rights to certain players was intended always, even before these new rules. And we did need to reduce the size of the squad, and we've done that well. As far as players moving out, we don't have any ambition to move anybody else out. I think opportunistically we're trying to think if there's something that can be done with that international spot, although there's not a lot of time.
Nous sommes
We're
à travailler ensemble.
committed to working together to see what are the needs of the team. To talk about defense, I think we do not need defensive players at this point, new defensive players. I'm happy with the team we have. It's a question of opportunity. If we have the possibility of doing something, but as I've said, I really believe in the team we have, in the players we have. And I think the priority right now is to improve the quality of our work, the mindset, and honestly, I'm not
quelques joueurs.
worried about this or that player coming in or out. I'm here to work with the players we have, but in football, we know when you have the right opportunity, and we'll try and work together to see if we have these opportunities to come along.
Merci.
Thank you very much. And it wasn't, okay.
Doesn't matter. First. C'est bon pour les photos. And for the TV, at the back, please. Juste écartez-moi un petit peu pour les télés. C'est tout bon? Ok.
Thank you. Thank you. Obrigado. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
This is yours.
It's the second, but I accept.
Okay.
Merci à tous.
Au revoir. Merci beaucoup.
Je suis au courant pour l'entraînement, mais ça sera vers 16h45.
Oh putain. Oh là là. C'est dur hein, d'avoir des journalistes.